Good morning. Welcome to daylight number 53 on June 3rd, 2020. It is 5:50 a.m. and I am talking to you live on Facebook. Now, I know for all of my friends have been early morning risers, uh, you're like, what is the big deal? Well, I'm 53 years old, and uh, my entire life, I would have been more likely to go to bed at 5 in the morning than wake up at 5 in the morning. So, this transformation, transition, uh, not sleeping past the 5 o'clock hour is just such an amusing thing to me. It's hard for me not to be filled with joy and amusement because of it. So it's great starting my days with myself this way. Sorry about that. Uh, Before I get too carried away, I gotta have a little coffee. Let's start. Oh man. Well, you guys really did share yesterday. Wow. Thank you. When I went to bed, over 1,400 views on yesterday's daylight, and just want to thank you. Thank you for taking that message and sharing it. Um, it meant a lot to me. I've not watched the news all day yesterday, so today's going to be uh, just a little lighthearted. I had just a packed day yesterday. I didn't realize it was going to be so packed. I thought I was going to have a lot of time to breathe and catch my breath between commitments. And man, it was from start to finish. Just it was a great day. It was the first day since March that I felt like with doing things and getting things done, and but it just was like a week after a surgery, and just it really was a fascinating day. And I ended the day about 9:15, 9:30, and when you get up at 5 a.m., I'm realizing that 9 o'clock feels a little bit like midnight used to. So I'm ending the day. I'm driving home, and my brother sends me a text, and involved than anything I could just type. So I called my brother. He lives in Oklahoma City, and haven't talked to him for a week. Talked to him the day before my surgery, but it was good to catch up with him and with five drivers. So now we have two cars for five drivers. So my daughter was heading up to Armstrong for a graduation parade with her boyfriend who's graduating from Armstrong High School. And she needed a car to drive up there. And I had a meeting in New Kensington that I needed a car for. So we were playing musical cars. Alex and Abby got home from work at 3:20. I said, Alex, I need you to give me a ride. I need you to drive the car down to Ruby's work with me in a second car, and then I'll give you a ride home. And my son, when he comes home from work, he's hungry. He wants to eat. He's like, Dad, I'm like, it'll just take a minute. To my kids, that's got to be the ultimate dad lie. It's just going to take a minute. So we drove two cars down, dropped it off. We're heading back up to the house, and we drive past our church, which is a polling station, and I see a good friend get out of his truck. And this friend, Gudjan, watches Daylight every day, and he's commented, and I haven't seen him for a while, face to face. So I said, hey, buddy, we're going to just swing by and say hello to Gudgeon. And so we pulled up and stood behind him, just had a delightful visit with him. And then we headed back up the house. He's like, okay, do you have anywhere else you have to stop that? I'm like, no, this is it. So when we get home, I pull into my driveway. Now, my driveway goes to the right side of my house, and then there's a parking spot to the left for my wife's car that will be on the right-hand side of our house in the front. Then the driveway goes all the way back to the garage alongside the house. And then I have a little alley that goes down behind my garage. So if you've seen on any of the sermons when I'm got my car down behind the house, that's how I do it. So right where that little alley path goes that I can drive on, sometimes I park there, sometimes I park straight. I noticed this very long black, I didn't think it was a garden hose, but imagine a garden hose. And I looked at it when I'm pulling in, I'm like, that's over 5 foot long, and that's a black snake. Now, you have to understand, I grew up in the country, okay? I grew up on my grandfather's 100-acre farm. My parents bought 20 acres from him. It was in Delmont, surrounded by farms, and this kind of thing was just adventure as a little kid. Just adventure. Finding snakes, picking up snakes, playing, catching snakes. That was an adventure. And so I just, I went into 8-year-old kid mode. And Alex is freaking out. And I'm like, Alex, it's okay. It's okay. Dad, where's that snake? Where's it going? I said, Alex, it's a black snake. It's not going to hurt you. He goes, how do you know? How do you know? I said, well, it's over 5 feet long. And he says, you're telling me if I put my hand in front of that snake's mouth, it's not going to bite me? And I said, well, it'll bite you, but it doesn't have any fangs, and it doesn't have any venom, and you'll be safe. And there was a large stick about that big around right outside his door. And I said, get that stick for me. Meet me at the front of the car. He hands it to me, and I walk up to the snake, put the stick right up to the top of its neck, bring my hand up behind it, pinch it right at the base of its head, and I have total control. And he's freaking out, and I'm like, where have I failed as a father? He was quite excited to see it, and I said, Alex, touch it. Just feel it. You've never lived until you have felt like a snake this size. And he's like, oh, I said, touch it. So he touched it. He's like, oh. I may be adding some drama to this, but he goes, that's wild. He'd never felt a cold-blooded reptile, so the skin is cool, the body's cool. Well, this thing starts wrapping around my hand. It really doesn't matter what it does to me because I have it by the neck. It's not going to go anywhere. And so I'm trying to figure out what do I do with this snake now? And 4 years ago, we were leaving for vacation, and Alex started down in our basement, and there was about a 15-inch long garter snake, which is also a harmless little snake that somehow was at the bottom of our basement steps. And it was close to midnight when he saw it, and Leslie was sleeping, and I'm like, Alex, 4 years ago, I'm just going to get this. I'm going to go take it off our property and find a place to release it. So I took it down to the creek 4 years ago at midnight down by the high school and dropped it in the creek. And so I said, Alex, I'm going to take this snake down to the creek as well. It's a little over a mile from our house. I'm going to put it in the creek, and I'd really like you to go with me. He goes, Dad, I'm starving. And I said, okay, but I think you need to come. He said, okay. So he came with me. I rolled my window down and drove down with the snake on my arm. Now, this snake had coiled around my hand and was constricting so much that my hand was a deep color red, and I was having trouble feeling my in my hand. It was going, and I'm like, that is fascinating. I've never had a black snake that strong. So the reason my brother asked me where I found the snake and what car I was driving was because my son then took a Snapchat video of me driving down Freeport Road with my arm on the steering wheel and then my left arm resting kind of out the window with the snake wrapped around my hand. And it was not letting go. Well, as soon as we started going with any speed down Freeport Road, it started loosening up. And I'm like, oh, he's loosening up. So I brought him inside the car, and he just kind of let loose and was hanging there in the car. But it didn't matter. I still had his head, so it wasn't going to do anything. So we got down to park by the creek, and I said, okay, I'm going to... He goes, no, wait. I want to touch it again. And he's insisting it's so filthy, it's so dirty because it crawls on the ground. I said, Alex, look at the skin on this. Feel this. There is no dirt on here. This is one of the cleanest animals you will ever touch, and he's not buying it. And I'm not certain. Like, I didn't study snakes in college or animal biology. Maybe they do carry diseases, but it felt pretty clean to me. And it felt cleaner than any other animal I've touched in my life. And so he's like, well, where are you going to drop? I said, we're going to walk across. We're going to stand on top of the bridge and just drop it down 12 feet into the creek. So we're doing that, and I take it and I toss it in the creek, and it lands, and then it slithers to the sides, and it's just sitting there. And then these kids were playing over here, and they came running around, and they're like seeing what's happening. They want to know what's going on, and so I say all that. We finally got home, and Alex got to eat, and that was not the end of my adventurous day. But I say all that to say, man, I love the adventure that comes our way when we're not expecting it, and when we're willing to flow with the adventure that kind of shows up. Who knows where things will lead and what kind of fun you'll have. So thank you for amusing me this morning, letting me answer my brother's text about my snake. And please, no snake paraphernalia, no snake gifts, no snake themes. They will go straight into the garbage. If you do, my wife is not a fan. I showed her the snake when it was on my hand, and she just booked right on past me, not even looking at it. So, but that was a fun adventure, and it also reminded me that you can take the country out of you can take the boy out of the country. You can't take the country out of the boy. And I think the most amusing thing for my friends here in New Kensington that know me now, because New Ken is a city, it's an urban setting, is that this country boy is their neighbor and friend and enjoys scuba diving in slimy pits to preach sermons, and enjoys holding 5-foot long black snakes as well. So, thank you guys. Great to be with you this morning. I hope you have a great, amusing day. Hope you can find joy at those different little spots throughout your day, even when your day is packed with stuff you have to do, or when your day is restful and isolated. I just hope that joy is your companion today, and that you have a great day. I don't want to leave, but yesterday I talked for 20 minutes, and I'm really trying to honor the 10 to 15 minute timestamp. So sorry, I probably went a little long today as well, but love you guys. Great to be with you, and hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.